Somewhere I've heard the phrase, yonder is matter unorganized. Go ye down and organize it into a world, like unto the other worlds heretofore formed.
The Hubble telescope has given us these beautiful pictures of mass in the universe, dust clouds of elements floating around in space. Beautiful things that were only available to us in the last few years. And it's from these clouds of dust that the elements are formed. Heavier elements are formed as lighter elements fuse together inside stars. Now this is a picture of a supernova. This is a picture of a star that explodes. Now, the stars are factories. Inside these stars, the outer pressure from gravity meets the inner pressure from an explosion inside. And where these two forces meet, that's where the heavier elements are created. Gold, silver, uranium, platinum. These things are created in this zone. And then they're blasted out into space. And then these clouds, gravity brings them together again, and we form worlds. So the stars, the sky is filled with hundreds of billions of stars. All of these stars are factories, creating elements from which worlds are made. And here we see hands forming these elements into a world. But where did the matter come from? It came from the Big Bang, about 10 billion years earlier than when the Earth was formed. Now, what was the Big Bang? The Big Bang was a tremendous surge of energy where the energy, or the light, the photons collided and formed the subatomic particles that later on became the mass of the universe. Scientists call this the Big Bang. Now we know what was going on, the chemistry of the Big Bang. We know the actions, the reactions that were taking place between the hydrogen and the helium and the other subatomic particles as they were fusing together to form the heavier elements. Science does not know where that energy came from. They go back to within a billionth of a second after it started, but they can't take you to the point where it originated. Now let's go to Scripture and find it out. We're going to go to John 1 through 3. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. Okay, Doctrine and Covenants 29:31. For by the power of my Spirit created I them, yea, all things, both spiritual and temporal. All right, so it's the power of Christ's Spirit that is in all things. Now, in the world of physics, we know that matter and energy are interchangeable. You can convert matter to energy. You can convert energy to matter. Now, this is Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. We just caught on to this in the last 100 years. Hydrogen is the simplest atom. And when hydrogen, you can take 4 hydrogen atoms and under pressure in the right conditions, they'll fuse together and form 1 helium atom. Now the interesting thing is, this 1 helium atom weighs slightly less than the sum of the 4 hydrogen atoms. Now that loss of mass is converted back into energy. In our sun, every second, 600 million tons of hydrogen are converted into 596 million tons of helium. And now the loss of the 4 million tons of mass is converted into energy that is radiated out into space, and part of that, a fraction of that, is captured by the Earth. It heats the Earth and it gives life to all things upon it. Here we've got a nuclear blast. We've got an atomic bomb. Hiroshima was destroyed as 600 milligrams of mass were converted to energy. Now, here's a picture of a 1,000 milligram vitamin C pill. 600 milligrams is just slightly over half of that vitamin C pill. Now, when Hiroshima went up in smoke, it was as this 600 milligrams of mass converted back to energy and destroyed that city. Conversely, it requires that same amount of energy to create the 600 milligrams of mass. Now in the Big Bang, here's this tremendous surge of energy where the light was converted into mass. Now where did the energy come from that created the universe? As we've said before, it came from Jesus Christ. The source of the power is Christ. DNC 9310. Worlds were made by him. Men were made by him. All things were made by him and through him and what? And of him. How can that be? Well, the Spirit of Christ is in all things. Now that's doctrine, that's scripture, but we never stop to think about it. Okay, let's prove it. Christ is the light of the world. DNC 8445. Whatsoever is truth is light, and whatsoever is light is spirit, even the Spirit of Jesus Christ. DNC 8813. The light which is in all things, which giveth life to all things, which is the law by which all things are governed. DNC 8850. I am the light that is in you. Are we beginning to get a different understanding about light? Number one, it's spirit. The light is spirit. And it's the spirit, the power and the spirit of Jesus Christ that formed all this mass of the universe. DNC 8842. He hath given a law unto all things by which they move in their times and their seasons. Where does the law come from? The laws of gravity, strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force. Where do they come from? Today, matter in the universe feels 4 different forces. But before inflation, 3 of these were unified superforce. When they started separating, the change released a huge surge of energy which materialized in particles. So the separation of the forces created the first matter. The law and the matter are tied together. When you have mass, when you have particles, these laws follow them. They're part of them. Where did the particles come from? They came from the light. They came from the light. So, what is the source of the law? Both the law and the mass came from the light. Light equals photons equals mass. The light and photons collide, it becomes the mass of the universe. Truth. Truth is things as they are, as they were, and as they shall be. That is a law. That's a law. Truth is law. The laws are gravity, strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force. The source of the mass and the law is light and truth. Christ is the truth and light in all things. Are we beginning to get maybe a little deeper understanding of who Christ is and where this stuff comes from?